Hi, I'm Jonathan, and this is my story. My dad is a Lutheran pastor, retired, but still active with Bible studies and things here and there. So he's a pastor. My mom was from the Presbyterian tradition, and they couldn't be more opposite. They were just like, she was kind of, her dad was on the Board of Education in Kansas, very civilized, knew which silverware to use and all this. And my dad was this unreconstructed farm boy. So at some level, you see that, and you're like, okay, these guys are still together and haven't killed each other. That must be God working right there. So yeah, I mean, my grandfather on my dad's side, my grandfather on my mom's side, the grandmothers, I was surrounded by a community of believers. And then the people in church too. I mean, the stereotype of pastors' kids is that we're all evil, satanic people because we can't express normal rebellion because we have to be paragons of virtue, so it comes out in evil ways. And I'm not going to comment on how true that is, but I think that in general, I felt being a kid in church was really good. I felt as though it was an extended family. I would come back from college and come back to Colorado, and everybody would be asking, how did everything go? How are finals week and everything? And it was just this warm, embracing community. I'm accepted as I am. There was a life coach of a senior vice president that I reported to who did the Myers-Briggs personality inventory on all of us. And she handed back my packet to me and said, "Congratulations, you're a jerk." And I said, "You're pretty good. Usually it takes people north of 2 minutes to figure that out." And she said, "No, I don't mean it as an insult, but you're extroverted, so you're talkative. And you're an N type, so you enjoy theory and kind of discussion and debate. And you're a T type, so you only care about the truth, not people's feelings. So you'll just kind of put it out there and say it. And you're a J type, so you're punctual, so you offend people quickly without delay. So it's really kind of a personality, perfect storm of bad traits. And so, yeah, so I said, "Oh, this is good information. I could have used this earlier in life." I said, "Thank you for letting me know, so I won't be a jerk anymore." And she said, "No, it's like alcoholism. You can only ever be a jerk in recovery." And I think prior to that time, I hadn't really thought about kind of myself in that way, and the people that I've offended and the stuff that I have, I've just been kind of careless in some ways towards people's feelings and not really living an exemplary Christian life in a way that people would point at this guy and say, "Yeah, he's really living it. He's this. I want more of this. I want to be more like this guy." And I think that was kind of a helpful thing for me. And I think in light of that, once you have had that message delivered, once you've received it, you kind of think, wow, I kind of do need to be forgiven. I'm not all that great. And at that point, it's good to have an accepting Savior who really is just like, "Yeah, well, I understand that. I actually saw you from the word go. Yeah, you've always been like this. I'm glad that you have that awareness. But I do accept you as you are with those flaws, and that's just very redemptive." Just stay grounded in the Bible. And I think the Lutheran faith is really good about that. I think that Luther really did his homework. I mean, that sounds fatuous as I say it. Of course, Luther did his homework, but I think that it's a faith that is very, very well grounded in the actual text of the Bible. And I would say, just kind of stick with it and kind of keep, no matter how far you drift, the stereotype is you start out in college or in high school, and then in college you kind of go off and experiment, and then you get married, and then you want to have children, and you want to have the children be brought up in the faith, and then you kind of come back to the church, or maybe these days sometimes people don't. And I think, that would be a pessimistic scenario. I think if you simply, kind of keep your faith, even if you're kind of going off and seeing other points of view, college will expose you to many different points of view. The wider world will expose you to many different points of view. Kind of keep that in the background. Kind of keep your faith, as a touch point, and allow it to kind of stick its nose under the tent like a camel. And whatever's going on in your life, if it's not part of your life, just kind of be aware that it's there, and at some moment, then it may kind of come in and really become much more important. And you'll be glad that you didn't lose that connection, and you'll be fed by that investment.